Take 5. I'm Channel 62, and you're watching the Mark Boudelier Show. Is that good enough for you?
Welcome to the Mark Boudelier Show, where we show Johns and sometimes drip. Drip or drown, baby. Drip.
Oh my gosh. Hey everybody, it's me, Mark Boudelier. I'm back for a midweek that's not actually a midweek video. As promised, if the last video hit 200 likes, I would make another one in the same week, and that is why we are here. I was gonna probably do it either way, but I do appreciate the gesture. Thank you guys. And if you like this video as well, definitely do the same for this one. Leave a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Before I get too deep into the main content, however, if you're new here, welcome, subscribe, hit the push notification bell as well so you know when my next video will be. And if you are returning, thanks.
Run those likes up, baby!
Okay, so yeah, this video basically is just going to be a list of brands that I deem to have not really had too many misses in the past year or so, or just recently. I'm going to word it as brands that have no misses, but obviously every brand is going to have things that, you know, aren't as great as others, you know, especially brands that are really, really fantastic. They're kind of held to a higher standard and stuff. So I'm going to take all that aside, and I'm just going to pretty much highlight some brands that I enjoy, some brands that I feel like have been doing a good job recently, and that's that. So let's get started. First up on my list, if you guys know me, you know how much I like Rhys Cooper, so I wanted to kind of highlight Rhys Cooper in this list. He's obviously an Atlanta designer, which is cool. There's not too many designers that come out of Atlanta. With that being said, I don't think he spent much time in Atlanta, so whatever. It's like an LA-based brand at this point. It's menswear as well as women's wear. He recently launched like a women's wear line, like I want to say in the past year or so. So that's like something. So that's something cool to note. As well as he just recently had his like spring summer 22 collection, like this runway collection. It was called Fresh Air. Lots of greens, lots of blues, lots of like khakis and beiges and stuff like that. He also showed off like a new Merrell collaboration that looks like it may be, I don't know if it's coming out soon or if it was like just for the runway or what, but super duper cool. I'm a big fan of those. As well as he, I think, is collaborating with Levi's. He teased that, which is another really big one for him. He's just had tremendous success since his first collection was in 2016. He was like 18 years old at the time, which is like insane to me. So it's cool to see him grow, and I feel like he's come a long way and has such a strong niche in fashion, if that makes sense. Like I feel like he does what he does and he does it well. So I wanted to highlight Mr. Cooper. All right, we have Story MFG. Story MFG is a team of a husband and wife, Saeed, as well as his wife Katie, which I think is already like a really cool dynamic. And recently, if you're familiar with the Pair of Kings podcast, they had Saeed on there. So definitely go give that a listen and support the homies over at Pair of Kings. But that was a really interesting podcast. They're based out of the UK. They strive to be like ethical. They're started in 2013, so another like younger brand. And basically they just like, their story is they found themselves bored with clothing, and the stuff that they wanted to wear like wasn't really out there, so they just kind of wanted to make clothes that they wanted that didn't already exist, which I think is pretty neat, I must say. Most of their clothes are kind of like utilitarian, like workwear inspired, but with like really great fabrics and dye patterns. That's like their number one thing, is just like how like great their dyeing techniques are. Everything is like organic cottons and like things like that, sustainable fabrics, if you will. And they specifically have one pair of like, I want to say they're cargo pants. They're like some like wider leg pants with like a little piece thing, and they're like brown dyed on it or something. They're so beautiful. But I don't own anything from them. I would love to get something from them soon, but yeah, I wanted to highlight them. You know, it's really cool to see a husband and wife team, be successful, make a unisex brand that people enjoy, and that is like growing pretty steadily. So nice. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. So our next brand is Our Legacy. I feel like Our Legacy has been popular for some time now, but I feel like this year has really kind of been a hit for them. They had their loafers that have been like a wild success. Obviously loafers are like a huge trend right now in a sense, and they've kind of capitalized off of that. They also have like this like clog shoe thing that's like really big right now. I see it like on like Instagram and stuff pretty frequently. They are an independent brand out of Stockholm. I feel like a lot of Swedish brands just like make such timeless pieces. If you look at Acne Studios, if you look like brands like Hope, Our Legacy is kind of the same thing with just like very high quality, elevated essentials, if you will. They also have like men's and women's wear. I'm not as familiar with their women's wear because really you mostly just see, I mostly see their footwear is what I like personally mostly see. So, but they also recently collabed with Stussy. I think that actually launched today, which I missed out on, but very cool stuff. They also have like some like workshop thing where like they upcycle garments, which is really nice. And they also have collabed with Vans, I believe they did. So cool stuff. They've been killing it. I wanted to include them. And with that, let's move on to Stussy, another brand that has been having a hell of a year. They've been around forever though. Stussy's been around since the 80s. Sean Stussy was a surfer, and then there was like a whole like surfing and skate scene that's around it. The logo is like a graffiti influence thing. So there's like this whole like kind of LA based like culture around it, like skating, surfing, yada, yada, yada. I've never like paid that much attention to Stussy myself, so I'm not going to act like I'm like a diehard or anything. But it is a really unique brand. It's a cool brand to look into, especially like their history and stuff. A lot of musicians, skaters, DJs, all that have kind of like made almost a like they have like a full like Stussy tribe is what they call it, which is just like almost like their collective that they made back in the day, which even now you see celebrities like consistently wearing Stussy. So it's just one of those brands that's like iconic and probably will forever be. But they have put out so many collaborations this year that it's really no wonder why they're doing so successful. So to list a few, we have Nike, we have Our Legacy, we have Cactus Plant Flea Market, we have Rick Owens, as well as all those other designer t-shirts that dropped at the same time. We got Birkenstock, we have CDG. There's a lot of collaborations, which I'm not going to say collaborations equals success, but it kind of helps. South 2 West 8, that is the next one. South 2 West 8 is under the Nepenthes umbrella, and it's kind of like based around fishing. It's a Japanese brand. It was founded in like 2003, and it's basically just like what you would see out of most fishing stuff. So like utilitarian pockets, unique cuts, with it just being like a Japanese brand. I feel like there's no Japanese brand out there that doesn't have unique cuts. A whole lot of like crusher hats, like with a little whatchamacallit, string, that's not the word for it, around the neck, which I don't wear hats anyways because my head is ginormous, but whatever. And then they also just use really cool fabrics. They use like a lot of mesh recently, and like just nice prints. I don't know, there's really not a bad brand under the Nepenthes umbrella if you ask me. Other notables is like Needles and Engineer Garments, which could have also easily made this list. So let's continue. Next up is Bodhi. If you follow me and have been for a minute, you know that I really like Bodhi. Emily Bodhi is the designer. She's also based out of Atlanta, which, you know, good one. Nice. We love it. And it was founded in 2016. She's a menswear designer, even though most of her clothes could like easily, like, I mean, all clothing is unisex, but her clothing is definitely like cuts that, like, I'm not going to just say it's menswear, even though that's what she is titled as. But in 2018, she was actually the first female designer to actually show at New York Men's Fashion Week or whatever, which is pretty cool. Kind of surprising too, but whatever. And all of her stuff is made in New York and New Delhi. It's like slow fashion to the max. Like if you go into one of their stores, I don't know if there's multiple. I went to the one in New York. That might be the only one. I don't know. It smells so nice in there. It's just a side note. It smells so good. I honestly could just live in that store because I feel like it has a cozy vibe. It's very like particular. Everything is like so like uniquely placed. I don't know, man. It's nice. There's a lot of like one-of-one stuff in there too. There's like a side of the store that's all like one of ones, and then there's a side of the store that's like, I guess, not mass produced, but produced more than one of. But yeah, they use a lot of like antique textiles, things like that, expensive fabrics, upcycling. They're expensive. The clothes are very expensive. I still think about the jacket every day that I tried on in there. That was like $2,500, but maybe one day. Y Project is the next one. Another pretty young brand. It began in 2013, so very young for that matter. Based out of Paris. Again, honestly, if you haven't looked at Y Project, they have like some of like the wildest stuff ever. A lot of like elongated sleeves, a lot of like random cutouts, a lot of like just unique things. Like their pants, their denim is like the first thing that caught my eye when I like looked into that brand. They have like the little like what looks to be like cuffs just going all the way down the pants. Just like crazy things that I feel like I've never really like seen before. I don't own anything from Y Project. I would love to, but yeah, very unique brand. Definitely you should check it out if you aren't familiar. Next up we have Nanushka. I feel like this one is not necessarily something that you would expect coming from me because I don't really like, I feel like Nanushka does a lot of like contemporary stuff that isn't necessarily like seemingly my style, but truth be told, I really like a lot of their stuff. Founded by Sandra Sandor. It's a London designer, and she founded it in 2007. So there's kind of a theme here. Most of these brands are younger. I personally feel like younger brands that haven't been around very long, usually put out like more unique items. That's just me. But there's just like a lot of details, like in terms of like fits of the items, as well as like fabrics. A lot of it's like sustainable, like the vegan leathers, yada yada yada. A lot of like wide leg pants, boxier fitting like tops. And although there's some items where I'm not like super in love with the prints and stuff, I still think overall there's not really many misses from that brand, and I wanted to kind of give them a little shout out. So with that being said, let's move on. The next one is Amyleon door. Everybody knows what that is. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I'll just kind of give a little quick little thing. I like their brand. Obviously, everyone kind of does. I feel like all their stuff is very cohesive. They have very just clean like lookbooks and stuff. Like their whole aesthetic is just so clean that like everybody, they have almost like a cult following at this point of like New Balance tote wearing kids, and like I want to like make fun of like the that hang out outside of the ALD store, but like their clothes are nice, so like I can't fully make fun of them, even though like it I want to, but I'm not going to. It's a great brand. I love their stuff. Their founder stays like extremely low key. Like I feel like I've never like really heard anything about him, and as far as I know, he kind of makes that like intentional. Like he doesn't really want to be like a huge like face like of the brand. He kind of just wants to, you know, have the clothes be out there and just like stay like to himself, which nice, good for you. Obviously everyone knows the New Balance collab. They've done stuff with Timberland's, Clark's, New Era, and many more. You guys know what it is. So anyways, last but not least, we have Arcteryx, however you want to say it. I feel like an absolute Chad even putting this on the list, but Arcteryx, in my humble opinion, has simply not really missed. I was like looking ever I was looking into their like brand history and stuff, because like I've never really taken like a huge deep dive, and there is just like loads and loads of stuff. But I think really like the biggest takeaway is that they're an older brand. They started in like 1989 in Canada, and they're not really trying to be trendy. Like that's never been a thing for them. Even with this like newfound hype, they've made it pretty clear that they're not gonna like switch up very much. They're going to keep on with their same styles and doing like what they kind of were founded upon, which is really pretty unique, pretty cool. I feel like that's kind of the way to go, especially for a brand that's not really a fashion brand, but I really care about their stuff. I think it's really good stuff. Camflict back here behind the camera, whose moobs are just in my face right now as he stares into my eyes, is a huge Archie fan that put me on before Virgil did, because I don't give a shit about Virgil's liking of Arcteryx. I only care about my cute cameraman. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all the brands. Let me know, because I could have put like 30,000 brands, but I've already been talking for like what feels like 2 hours. So
minutes and 7 seconds.
exactly, I've already been talking I've been talking a lot. So if there's others that you think like are just like really great, comment them below. Let me know. And yeah, if you want stickers, of course, DM me on Instagram. I'll get to as many of you guys as I can. They're free. People ask me how to get them. Literally just DM me on Instagram with your address, and I will send you some when I get the chance, or we'll send some of you guys some. I'm not gonna, just in case everyone blows up my shit, which I
Definitely gonna get blown up.
yeah, I will choose as many of you guys as I can. I only have so many stamps, so we will try. But thanks so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.
Elise Shane. Yeah, Elise Shane. Your presentation went overboard. You stinky piece of shit.
Shut the f*** up, dude.